This year, in the wake of massive social justice protests, TCAPS decided they needed to respond, so the Social Equity Task Force was born. The task force is a board of 22 members that meets monthly to talk about how TCAPS can be more effective at combating racism, sexism, and other social issues.
The Social Equity Task Force is the Traverse City Area Public Schools' response to recent movements in society at large in the United States. And so TCAPS took a look at some of the things that have been happening around the Me Too movement, as well as Black Lives Matter, and it really brought to our attention that we should probably be taking a closer look at some of the things that we do here, some of our structures and processes and procedures, in order to make sure that we really are addressing the needs of all of our students.
Over the summer, Ashley Coe, a former TCAPS student, started a petition to incorporate BIPOC history and anti-racism education into TCAPS schools, and the Social Equity Task Force was born.
It's one of those things of proactive versus reactive. What we don't want to do is sit back and watch constant issues of inequality happen in our district. We could do something about and say, oh, right, that, we need to fix that. Of course, there are underlying instances that people experience every single day in our system that we are probably not aware of, accounts of micro-racism or bias or discrimination in how students' behaviors are perceived. Those are probably day-to-day experiences for many students. And so our work is to address that through not only education, but awareness.
So what is social equity, you might be thinking? In this case, it's simply not equality for all, but instead a commitment to making sure all students have access to what they need to be successful.
There might be somebody that needs more than someone else to access success, and so equity means giving them a fair game to play, giving them what they need to be successful. And some people need this or that or more or less, and so it's looking for those things.
We talked to West High School student Alexa Nugent to see how she's involved in the task force and how students can make a difference.
Being a part of it as a student definitely gives other members of it a different perspective on how we view it as students. So I definitely feel like it's important for me to be a part of it so that I can help lead others and how we can make a difference as a district and how we can help others.
One of the task force's biggest goals at the district level is addressing the curriculum and making changes to it to add sources or references that promote equity and removing ones that do not.
What's going to be happening is that we're going to be then focusing the work onto particular buildings, right? Taking a look at each building's student population and then what groups within that population can use additional support and additional opportunity around equity and access.
One of the things that we're going to look for is that student feedback where there might be lots of stories or things occurring that staff is not aware of because people know that it's not an acceptable thing to do, and so they're on purpose doing it when they're not going to be seen or heard.
You like to judge you based on your ethnicity, and I feel like that's a really big discriminating factor that plays along with it. A lot of students use a lot of racial terms to just do it for fun, and they'll say it to their friends and not actually know what it means, and I see that a lot on a day-to-day basis. I just feel like if people actually knew what they were saying, then they wouldn't actually say it.
The task force continues to meet once a month, every single month.
There's students and staff. So basically, I feel like it's one step to learning how we can deal with our diversity in the district and how we can treat other people the same way that we want it to be felt.
This has been CJ and Thayer reporting for Trojan TV.